Ever since I reached Calcutta as the new French Consul General, there is one woman who has been on my mind. She was a French anthropologist, an author, an explorer born in the late 19th century. Her name is Alexandra David-Néel. She developed a passion for Asian studies. She studied Sanskrit, Tibetan, Buddhism, and at some point she decided that she had to travel and to come to these shores to know more. And her thirst for knowledge brought her to Calcutta, I think as early as 1911. She was here in Calcutta. She then traveled to Darjeeling, to Sikkim. Later on, for decades, she roamed South Asia, going to Nepal, entering Lhasa as the first foreign woman. And she did all this on her own, without a chaperone, without her husband, a father, or brother. She relied very much on the help of local people. She was very bold, and she did all this because she was driven by this passion. So she's very much an inspiration for me. First of all, to remind me that I always have to be curious, to be open, not to become a cynical. I think it's very important as a diplomat, especially in this part of the world, in India, that has so much diversity, so much variety. Second, she had to face many prejudices. She was a very hard feminist. She was fighting very much for women to become economically independent. And I think she had to face a lot of challenge, and she did. And she achieved what she wanted to achieve. She became a very famous and renowned author. And thirdly, I think that she shows, her whole life shows that you have to have challenges all through your life, never give up. I'll give you an instance. She was 100 years old, almost passing away, when she decided to renew her passport. It means she still had traveling plans. For me, this is the greatest lesson of life. So Alexandra David-Néel is definitely a model for me. And she inspired a very small motto I have. Always be curious, always be bold, follow your instincts. And barriers are there to be crossed and to be opened, not to stop you.
When I was appointed as Consul General of France in Pondicherry and Chennai, I had in mind some famous female character of Indian recent history, such as Indira Gandhi, for example. But it is by a nickname, an intriguing one, the Nightingale of India, that I encountered Saroninji Naidu, and she became to me a strong reference. As you certainly know, Saroninji Naidu was an Indian political activist, actually one of the major figures of the Indian national movement and a close follower of Mahatma Gandhi. But she was also a feminist. At the time of her studies in England, she worked as a suffragist and all along her life promoted women independence. And finally, she was a poet. From early childhood till last days, she wrote powerful and sensible poems and had an active literary life. So why is she inspiring me? First of all, of course, because of her strong commitment to her country and to women's condition.
There is a woman who really inspires me in my everyday life, and she's actually a very close Indian friend of mine here in Mumbai. She inspires me because she's a woman of principles and values, but she actually makes a point to apply and implement those principles in her everyday life through very little steps whenever she can. It's inspiring for me because it reminds me that values and principles are not something that we apply, one shot in a year. Or also, it doesn't mean that we have to dedicate our lives or our energy all the time to it. Everyone can follow the motto, one day, one action, and make very little steps, take very little actions in our everyday lives. It reminds me of the sentence of Mahatma Gandhi, which is very inspiring, which is be the change that you want to see in the world. So it means that we can all take very little actions in our everyday life, in our work or in our personal lives. And this has been very inspiring. Watching her has been inspiring for me as a Consul General of France in Mumbai, in my working life, but also in my personal life.